What's up, guys? This is Rise, and welcome to the Ultra League. It's the first day that we're able to compete in the Ultra League, and I have my first set of the Ultra League season that I'm going to show for you. I am running a team of Alolan Muck in the lead, Giratina Altered, and Armored Mewtwo, which I actually just powered up for this, and we're just going to get straight into it, and right away we catch a good lead, and this is why I love Alolan Muck, is because it matches up great against Giratina Altered, which a lot of people like to lead, and especially if Giratina is running Shadow Claw, that will do resisted damage against Alolan Muck, and it can win that matchup very handedly. We use the Dark Pulse against the Swampert because we know it'll do quite a bit of damage, and then we swap in our Armored Mewtwo. And this is my first time trying out Armored Mewtwo. We make a bit of a mistake here, and I think we could have shielded that Earthquake. That probably would have been best. But then we farm down, and we have a lot of energy to use. We go straight for Psy Strike, but we should have used the Rock Slide. And I actually originally was running Rock Slide on this Armored Mewtwo because this team has a bit of a weakness to Articuno. And I was thinking that Rock Slide would be great if we run into an Articuno, but I do end up changing it to Dynamic Punch later in this set. Then we go into the mirror match because our Giratina does not really want to see Alolan Muck. They're running Sludge Wave, which is good because Gunk Shot is going to be a much harder hitting move than Sludge Wave. Even though it's resisted, it's going to take out like 40% damage, as you see there. We are going to let this go through, because we know even if it KOs, our Giratina can come in. They swap in Giratina for the Dark Pulse, but that's fine because Dark Pulse is going to hit very hard. And it takes out the Giratina. And even though this is a poor matchup, we have our Giratina running Dragon Breath, and Alolan Muck is so low that we get the first win anyway. So good start. We win our first game of the Ultra League season. I was happy with that. I am running Dragon Breath on my Giratina, which isn't the recommended fast move, but I like it just because Dragon Breath is such an overpowered move. It does so much damage. The only thing you have to be careful of is it's not good against Charmers, because if you have Shadow Claw, that will do some damage, and Giratina will be able to at least hang with the Charmers. But if you're running Dragon Breath, it's double resisted, and Giratina is kind of screwed against the Charmers. So I actually end up changing that later on as well. We're in the Alolan Muck mirror match. Ours has pretty decent IVs. Ours is actually a lucky Alolan Muck, so it has pretty high IVs, which allows us to win this matchup, and we're even able to farm down. So now we're going to be able to get a Dark Pulse off. Will the Dark Pulse land? It does. It goes unshielded, so we're in a good position, but it's all going to depend really on what they have in back. I decide to come in with Armored Mewtwo because I feel like I could have really gone either way, and I'm not sure what they have in back. And I actually would, if there's a Giratina in back, which was what I was thinking, our Dragon Breath Giratina will be able to beat the Shadow Claw Giratina, because most people do run Shadow Claw. We're going for this Psy Strike here. They let it go through, and unfortunately they have a Togekiss, and this is one of the major weaknesses to this team. And like I said, because I'm running Dragon Breath, this is going to be very hard to overcome. And you know, if we had actually gone in with our Giratina against the Swampert instead of Mewtwo, this would have been a much better matchup for us. But unfortunately, we didn't think we could get to the Shadow Sneak, so we just go for a Dragon Claw, hoping for a shield. They don't shield. Great read by them. We come in, we throw our Psy Strike with Mewtwo, but of course they're going to shield, and we lose with a shield. So unfortunately, we lose that second matchup, but learning as we go. It's our first set of Ultra League, so getting reused to the meta. And this team I have here, I know a lot of you subscribers like the Spice I normally run. This team is pretty meta. But don't worry, in the future I do have quite a few spice picks for the Ultra League that I'm going to run, and a few of them are ones that I haven't seen very many people at all run that I'm excited to show you guys about. So here we are once again, Alolan Muck versus Giratina Altered. This one's running Dragon Breath, which makes this a much closer matchup. We're going once again for the Dark Pulse. We draw a shield. They're Dragon Breathing us down, and they throw a charge move, and I don't think I could have gotten to another Dark Pulse, so I decided just to let my Muck go. Then we're going to come in and we can just farm down with Giratina. We're going to have to eat a Dragon Claw, but that's okay. Even though it's super effective, Giratina is very tanky and it won't do a whole lot of damage. Now let's see what they bring in. We're up a shield. They bring in Cresselia. So this Shadow Sneak will do super effective, but Cresselia is not something that we really want to see against this team as well. Moonblast is going to deal super effective damage, so we are going to use our shield here. And Shadow Sneak we'll go for once again. It's all going to come down really to what they have in back. But you see, even a poor matchup, Giratina is able to hang with this Cresselia and do some work. We're going to stay in here against the Swampert. We know it's just a Hydro Cannon that we can survive, and we just barely survived, so it's pretty close, a little risky. Now we're going to switch into our Mewtwo just to avoid being mud-shotted down. They hit us with a Hydro Cannon, and I actually made a mistake there. I either should have committed to the farm down or just thrown the Side Strike right away, but now we're not going to be able to farm down for as much energy. I undercharged the Side Strike, hoping to farm down a bit. We still each have a shield, so this is going to be a really close finish. Cresselia has Moonblast and Grass Knot usually, or Future Sight. We're going to shield. Can we get to this Side Strike before we go down? Yes, we have the Side Strike, and we will be able to get it off. It's resisted, but it will do plenty to knock it out, and one Confusion takes out the Swampert. So we get a win in game number 3. GG's. And you guys, the funny thing is, Giratina is ranked number 3 in the Ultra League on PvPoke. Armored Mewtwo's number 7, I believe. The MVP of this team, for me at least, is Alolan Muck, because it gets so many great leads. Alolan Muck is ranked like number 40 something on PvPoke, but it's going to be a staple for me. I would go as far to say as Alolan Muck is my favorite Pokemon to use in the Ultra League, because it's a great Cresselia counter, and it's a great Giratina Altered counter. It's a great counter for Venusaur. It has a lot of great matchups in the Ultra League, and even in its bad matchups against Charmers, you can hit it with that Sludge Wave or that Gunk Shot that you're running to one-shot it. We've seen this matchup before. We know we can survive this, so we're actually not going to shield. And this way, they're going to have to commit both shields to win this matchup, or let their Giratina go. So they're committing both shields. I think they could probably outpace me to a charge move, so I decided just to let my Muck go once again. And then we can come down with our own Giratina and farm down. So we have a 2-shield advantage, but they have switch advantage. And I forget at this point if we had switched our Mewtwo. Yes, so we have switched our Mewtwo to Dynamic Punch. It'll be interesting to see what they bring in. We're getting to that Dynamic Punch, and we knew they were probably going to switch, but sometimes I hit the charge move anyway, just in case they're slow to it. So now we're in this Armored Mewtwo Mirror Match. Both of us are probably running the same move set, and this is every move is going to be resisted. It's kind of a boring matchup to watch, but we're just going to try and chip away as much as we can. And because a couple charge moves or at least one charge move got off before the switch, we're going to be able to come in here with Giratina and finish off this Mewtwo with a Shadow Sneak. We shield the Size Strike because we have our shields to use, might as well use one. And now we're going to knock it out with a Shadow Sneak. Perhaps I could have farmed down, but I was just trying to be safe. I don't want them to switch out and then eventually hit us with another charge move with that Mewtwo. We know we can survive one Flash Cannon, and I'm actually going to try and save my shield for my Mewtwo to get off a Dynamic Punch. So even though our health is low on both our Pokemon, we're actually in a pretty comfortable situation here. I can just let my Giratina go, and I can get to a Dynamic Punch with one Confusion. And even if they had a charge move ready, we had a shield. So this Dynamic Punch, super effective and knocks out Registeel. Good games. I think that puts us at 3-1. So one game left in this set. 4-1 would be great, but we already clinched a positive set for our first set. So we're already happy going against Iomero 0 and Escavalier. Escavalier beats every single one of our Pokemon. So we are not in a great position. We're going to stay in here with Muck because Muck can hit it for some heavy neutral damage with that Dark Pulse. This is probably a Drill Run, which will do a ton of damage. So we're going to shield. We're not over farming at all. Just going straight for Dark Pulse. We just want to get this Escavalier out of here. We may even double shield. Yep, we're going to double shield just because we want to see this thing gone. They switch out into their own Muck, and we don't have an answer for Alolan Muck. It's my favorite Pokemon, but we don't really have an answer for it. Giratina with Dragon Breath will do okay, but since we don't have any shields left, it'll hit us heavy with those Dark Pulses. So we are in a rough situation. I knew I would only be able to get to a Dark Pulse, so I switch into Giratina. I probably should have just switched to Giratina right away. Yeah, Alolan Muck is tough for this team to deal with, so this is our first set, and now this is something I'm aware of, and I will probably change my team composition. Maybe put Swampert somewhere in there, because we don't really have an answer for Alolan Muck. Now they come in with a Lapras, and yeah, this is going to be tough to come back. They're going to hit us with probably a Surf or an Ice Beam. It's an Ice Beam, and we're expecting a switch, so I think the only play here was to Confusion down, and unfortunately I thought I was probably going to get hit by a Mega Horn, which would knock me out. So I used my Size Strike, and now I'm not going to be able to get to 2 charge moves. So it's possible we could have won that if we played this last game a little differently, if we had committed to farming down the Escavalier. But unfortunately we lose that last match. So we go 3-2 in our first set in the Ultra League. Let me know what you think of the team comp. Let me know if there's any Pokemon you want me to try. I'm looking forward to Ultra League. I actually like Ultra League in Great League, pretty similar. I think Great League is pretty much everyone's favorite league just because there's so much variety. So I would say Great League is my favorite, but I enjoy the Ultra League too. And I do have a lot of spice picks that will be coming your way in the future that I would love to showcase. So with that said, thank you all for watching. And thank you so much for the support recently. We've actually hit 500 subscribers, and our channel has just been growing exponentially every day. We've gained like 100 subscribers a day over the past few days. So even though we're a small channel, we're growing pretty rapidly. So with that said, thank you once again for watching. Make sure to like this content if you enjoyed it. Share it with your friends, hit that subscribe button. And with that said, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.